Harris spent nearly a week hunkered down in Pittsburgh.
Kamala Harris is hunkered down.
Hunkered down ahead of their first and possibly only debate.
Kamala Harris hunkered down.
With Harris hunkered down.
Harris has spent the last few days hunkered down.
The VP has been hunkered down.
Harris has been hunkered down.
She hunkered down.
Harris was hunkered down.
She hunkered down. The vice president has been hunkered down.
Behind these hotel doors, Kamala Harris is now hunkered down.
I wonder what our news media would do if we distributed individual brains to each and every one of them. You think that'd make a difference? They're hunkered down. Kamala Harris is hunkered down. She's hunkered. I don't know why, but I've made fun of the term hunkered down since grammar school with nuns. Hunkered down? Doing a little hunkering, are you? Got to hunker. To hunker is to crouch or squat on one's heels. Do you think she's squatting? Crouching on her heels? What kind of heels do you think they are? She's squatting and crouching. Getting ready for the big debate tonight. The candidates debate. Yes, indeed. Well, happy Tuesday, and welcome back once again. The big debate tonight. I hope you'll set your DVRs if you have DVRs. Not everybody has DVRs anymore. Not everybody. You got to have cable television to have a DVR, I think, or something approximating that. But I'm going to be watching tonight, I can assure you. And it ought to be very interesting. I think a great many people will be watching tonight because it's President Trump, and everybody's saying, well, how's he going to behave? Is he going to be mean? Because if he's mean, then Kamala will be a victim because she's a girl. Forget about that whole vicious and aggressive prosecutor thing. That's one of the many narratives that they've put out there. But they get to switch them up. That moment to moment, they can change their whole spiel over and over again. No big deal. Now, I've got a lot of things that I want to get to having to do with the big debate, the candidates debate. And I want to share. I want to start sharing because that's why I'm here. That's why I get out of bed in the morning. Now, for the debate tonight, there has been a lot of change. The terms of the debate were actually negotiated because it is the first debate. They got like the third, fifth national bank and thing. I could never figure that. How can you be the third, fifth national bank or the first, third city bank or whatever that is? But this is the first debate. It's the first debate for Kamala. It's the second debate for President Trump because President Trump debated the Democrat Party's presidential candidate when it was Joe Biden. And Joe Biden did so horribly, did so terribly, that the Democrat Party gave him the hook. They kicked him to the curb. They put a bag over his head and tied his hands behind his back, threw him in the back of a van, and they took him out because they decided that they'd likely lose with him. So they kidnapped him and threw him out. Now, will Joe Biden even be the president come election day, or will they make some kind of a change there? One of our brilliant callers today suggested that it was George suggested that Joe Biden may, depending on how the debate goes tonight, actually step down from the presidency, or will he finish out his term? January 20th. Because it'd be kind of funny. Who would be there? I guess Joe Biden would be there on the west front of the Capitol up on the balustrade to pass the torch. They keep talking about torches. They got a lot of arsonists, so they keep talking about passing the torch so you can burn more businesses and police cars and stuff, as Democrats are so fond of doing. But will Joe Biden be the president of the United States on January 20th on Inauguration Day when the torch is passed, as the Democrats like to say, to President Trump, to Donald John Trump? Will Joe Biden even show up? Maybe he'd have to have a stunt double. He could have Kamala do that, too. Finally, she'd have a job of some kind. She could be there to pass the torch to President Trump. But will he really be there? And if Joe Biden steps down, then Kamala would become president, right? I mean, if he really steps down, since he's not doing anything as president of the United States, what did he have yesterday? They had Disability Awareness Month at the White House yesterday. I apologize. You're right. Disability Pride Month, which is July. But they were celebrating it yesterday at the White House because Joe Biden doesn't know what month it is anyway. So what's the difference? But if Joe Biden stays on as president, will he show up on Capitol Hill? Will he show up at the Capitol to pass the torch? Will there be an orderly transition of power? That should be asked at the White House briefing, but it won't be. It should be. That'd be fine. Hey, Cringe, I have a query for you. I got a query for Cringe. It's a query. And I'd ask Cringe, President Trump wins the election, and they'll say, well, that's a hypothetical. I can't answer that. But after Election Day, President Trump wins. He says, well, will Joe Biden show up on January 20th for an orderly transfer of power? Or will your violent mobs be looting businesses all over D.C. like they were last night? And they were last night. Mobs of at least 65 Democrats sacking, looting, and plundering. But what's the problem there? But I think it is a fun question. President Trump wins on Election Day. The Democrats fight it all the way to the Supreme Court, deny. They make up stories. They say it was stolen. Which they do every time they lose a presidential election. They did that in 2000 and 2004. They did it in 2016. When President Trump won in 2016, they were burning cars in downtown Washington, D.C. and smashing out storefronts and attacking people going to inaugural balls and doing what the left does everywhere in the world because they're not liberals, they're the left. But these are fun questions that will never be asked by our idiot, corrupt, fake news media, fake press corps in Washington, D.C., which is a gang of, fanny boys for the Democrat Party. What are they? For the Democrat Party. But there are rules, and the rules were negotiated when Joe Biden was still president. Is he still president, Michael? He's technically still the president of the United States. He's not doing any of the duties other than having a 2-month delayed Pride Month for disabilities. They're proud of disabilities. It's amazing stuff. But never mind that. The rules were negotiated between the Joe Biden presidential campaign and the Donald Trump presidential campaign. And among the many things that were agreed to at the time, you may recall that the Biden people, they wanted to have the microphones muted in between. So if it's not Donald Trump's turn to answer a question, his microphone is turned off. It's muted, right? And the Democrats asked for that. And it ended up working to President Trump's benefit. And they became furious because they're a gang of crazy idiots. And now Kamala Harris, her campaign came back and said, we want the mics turned on all the time, not muted. And the Trump campaign said the terms of the debates have been negotiated and settled long ago. And you don't get to come back and just change them all because, you think you're all that. That's technically what they said. So they have rules for the debate. Now, the Democrats initially wanted muted microphones. Then they changed their mind because she flip-flops on everything. Flipping and flopping on everything. Just ask Willie Brown. And so the microphones will be muted tonight when the candidate is not being addressed by the moderator being ABC News' David Muir, and who else? But David Muir, it should be noted, David Muir, it has been observed, is the most biased of the network news programs. Newsbusters, the great people at the Media Research Center and Newsbusters have the headline, Rich Noyes, who's been doing this for a long time, and he's great at it, at monitoring the media. And yesterday, the good people at Media Research Center and Newsbusters, MRC, where we have the annual Black Tie Gala in Washington, D.C. I have hosted it in the past. Wonderful organization. 100% is the headline. ABC debate moderator David Muir hosts most pro-Harris left-wing newscast. And again, Rich Noyes, Vice President Kamala Harris will meet former President Donald Trump tomorrow night for a debate hosted by ABC News. And she could not have chosen a friendlier forum. The Democrat Party, the Kamala campaign, we'll sit down with David Muir because everybody knows he's a $25 million a year Democrat, but pay no attention to that. Could not have chosen a friendlier forum for their first encounter. It will likely be their last encounter. For President Trump, it's his second presidential debate this time around. And for Kamala, it's her first presidential debate. But they passed the torch, from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris. So it's President Trump's second first debate, and it's Kamala Harris's first debate. So it turns out, as Media Research Center found, that ABC World News Tonight, they do a lot of stories on politics because they're a front group for the Democrat Party. But MRC, Media Research Center analysts, reviewed all 100 campaign news stories that aired on ABC World News Tonight with David Muir from the day Harris entered the race on July 21st as the Democrat Party's new candidate through September 6th, including weekends. Our analysis at MRC found 25 clearly positive statements about Harris from reporters, anchors, voters, and other nonpartisan sources, with 0 negative statements. None. So every single reference to Kamala Harris was positive, not a single negative thing. That computes to a gravity-defying 100% positive spin score for the Vice President, Kamala Harris. As for Trump, our analysis found just 5 clearly positive comments versus 66 negative statements for a dismal 7% positive and 93% negative spin score. All right, so Media Research Center did their, which they've been doing for decades now, and nobody does it better. They found that President Trump gets 93% negative coverage from David Muir and ABC News. Kamala Harris gets 100% positive on everything. So it's good to be a Democrat, right? Womp, womp, womp. Now, the rules negotiated by the Biden campaign and President Trump's campaign, they agreed to muted microphones, and Kamala wanted to change that. Kamala also wanted to be sitting down, but the terms had already been negotiated with the Biden campaign, and it was standing up. But Kamala's like, I can't stand up for 90 minutes. I don't have that kind of stamina, and that's amazing. Also, no live studio audience, which would benefit President Trump. And having a live studio audience would benefit President Trump. So they negotiated no live studio audience. He plays well to an audience. He interacts with an audience. Only a pen and paper and water on stage at the podium. Kamala Harris wanted to have notes. There will be no pre-written notes, but Kamala Harris wanted to sit down and have notes because she doesn't have a good brain. The answers will be 2 minutes to the questions. Rebuttals will be 2 minutes, and follow-ups will be 1 minute. 1 minute. Now, Kamala, again, wanted to have pre-written notes so somebody could tell her what to say and she could read the answers. And she wanted to be sitting down because standing for 90 minutes is too long. And then they changed what they had agreed to under Biden about the muted microphones, and they wanted to not have muted microphones. So she's already probably in a panic, in a flop sweat panic about it all. And I've got a lot more coming up this and the prep and commentary. I've got all this coming up for you. So stay right there. You know, as you gear up for back to school and the fall season, your feet deserve the same level of support that you've had on all your summer adventures all summer long. Introducing G-Defy shoes with VersaShock technology. You're familiar with these? Unlike ordinary brands of shoes, G-Defy shoes offer superior shock absorption and trampoline-like energy return. Can help provide relief in your body. You know, you have discomfort in your feet and your knees and your ankles, maybe even in your back, taking care of all the discomfort in your body, whether you're a parent tackling a new school year, chasing after the kids all over the place, or just hustling through the daily grind. G-Defy shoes offer the comfort and versatility that your feet crave. Listen, my best girl and I, we each have a pair of G-Defy shoes, and we like them very much when we heck around the city. They do push back on the bottom of your feet. They feel great. Every pair also includes 2 free sets of supportive orthotics and a special lateral stabilizer shown to help improve your stride, your walk, your run. And as a listener to my show, you get to enjoy a special back-to-school offer. You visit gdefy.com right now and get $20 off your order of $100 or more with the code CHRIS. It's a simple CHRIS. That's GDEFY, gdefy.com. Don't forget to use the code CHRIS for $20 off your order of $100 or more. Step into the fall season with G-Defy shoes. Visit gdefy.com today. Boom, boom, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Yeah, so what's tonight going to look like? What is President Trump doing to prepare? What is Kamala doing to prepare? Is she hunkered down? I think she's squatting on her heels, trying to get ready. No written notes for you. No chair for you. You think she'll be able to stand up for 90 minutes? And we are at 888-630-9625. All right, let's go to a phone call. We're going to get into the audio of all this and more on what to expect tonight. But right now, let's go to Rob, calling from Montgomery County, Maryland. Robert, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Well, good morning, Chris. It's always the greatest of pleasures to get you on the line. Your previous caller had said to have President Trump ask Kamala, hey, by the way, just wanted to let you know the American people would really like our country back. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But what I was calling about when you were talking about hunkering down and whatnot, I think we should have a new term or should I say a new definition for the word wedgie. I think somebody's gonna. I think a certain individual's gonna be feeling that way after the fact. If you get my drift.
You think, and I believe I do. I believe I do get your drift. Yeah, I want President Trump to be focused, and he did so well during the Biden debate. He had to drop out. Let's replicate that. Ah, yes. Blood in the street. It's up to my ankles. Let's go to some of the big audio sound bites having to do with the debate tonight. You know, there is one street in one county in western Pennsylvania that will decide the entire presidential election. I saw it on the news. It's got to be true. Only key swing states matter. If you're not a key swing state, you don't matter. If you don't live in a key swing state, your vote doesn't matter. I saw it on the news because only key, not even swing states, only key swing states matter. And that means you think in key swing states, that's where Democrats come in and they put their car keys in a fishbowl, and then whoever's keys you grab, you go home with their wife. It's a swing state. It's a swing state. They love the swing states. Undecided Pennsylvania voters. You got to look out for those undecided Pennsylvania voters. Call on Harris to be clear about her policies at debate. Quote, not just hype us up. What? Not just hype us up. That's a strange turn of phrase, don't you think? But this is the state of politics in America. The undecided Pennsylvania voters, and the news media pays all kinds of attention to these little slices of America because they're all that matter. We don't have a national election. We have 50 state elections and the District of Columbia, but nobody cares who anybody votes for in the District of Columbia. I know that's where I vote. But Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump will face off at ABC News presidential debate on Tuesday. That's today. It's suddenly here. And undecided voters in Pennsylvania said they wanted to hear more concrete policies from Vice President Kamala Harris at Tuesday's debate on ABC. And that's big news because you can't just throw out platitudes. The undecided voters, the decided voters, they don't care about. If you're a decided voter in a non-swing state, nobody cares about you. You might as well stay home because I saw it in the news media. Amazing stuff. And never forget that it's being hosted on ABC and David Muir, where they get 100% positive coverage. 100%. The Kamala Harris campaign gets 100% positive coverage on ABC's World News Tonight. And Donald Trump gets 93% negative coverage on ABC's World News Tonight, because that's perfectly normal. Now, President Trump is preparing for the debate, and I saw one of his guys yesterday say something pretty funny. Said, he was asked, what's President Trump doing to prepare for the debate? So what's he doing to prepare for the debate? He's having rallies, he's meeting with constituents, he's doing press conferences, he's doing interviews on television and radio and with newspapers, all the things that Kamala Harris is not doing because she's hunkered down, she's squatting on her heels and preparing for the big debate. And they just want a dirty trick moment. They want President Trump to respond badly for 10 seconds. That's all they need. Then the news media will she'll pass the torch to the news media, and the news media will torch everything else with the torch that they've been passed by the Democrat Party. But President Trump is now taking a little time to do some debate prep, preparing for debate with the help of Matt Gaetz, Congressman Matt Gaetz, who's been on my Newsmax television show a couple of times, and Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is one of the Democrats that has left the Democrat Party because it's such a despicable, horrible place. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has left the Democrat Party because he said his father and his uncle would not recognize the Democrat Party of today. They would find it unrecognizable. I've been saying that for years. Tulsi Gabbard, who is a Democrat member of the House of Representatives from Hawaii and a U.S. Army officer that, unlike Tim Walz, actually deployed to a war zone overseas. The law professor emeritus at the Harvard University Law School, Alan Dershowitz, announced that he has left the Democrat Party. The Democrat leader of the California State Senate, Gloria Romero, has left the Democratic Party. Everybody in their right mind should leave the Democratic Party, especially if you're Jewish, especially if you're black. Oh, you see, day after tomorrow, I mentioned it yesterday, but day after tomorrow, Thursday across the United States, tomorrow is September 11th, and that's the anniversary of the radical Islamic jihadi terrorist attacks on the United States, September 11th, 2001. And the Democrats are organizing mob violence on college campuses across America for day after tomorrow, September 12th, demanding that the Jews drive themselves into the sea, and then they have it close in like Charlton Heston, in the Ten Commandments. The Democrats want to wipe Israel off the map, and they'll lie to you that that's not true. Then they'll chant from the river to the sea. But never mind that. Amazing stuff. So Matt Gaetz, Tulsi Gabbard, working with President Trump on debate prep, and they're calling it an informal policy. They're having sessions, multiple sessions, informal, to talk about policy, because Republicans are voting based on saving our country, keeping it from slipping further into the morass. The Democrats are running on hate Trump. That's their entire platform. We hate Trump, and we want you to hate Trump too. He's Hitler. He's going to destroy democracy. He's a threat to the world. This is what they say. This is what they're running on, right? And President Trump is talking about the economy and the border and keeping our elections safe from corruption. He's talking about inflation and people being able to buy houses when they're in their 20s to build family wealth and generational wealth and the American dream. The Democrats are running on Don't You Hate Trump. That's their whole platform. hate. They love the hate. And in order to love the hate, you have to hate the love, too. Haven't you found that to be true? I have. So that's going on. Trump is holding informal policy sessions with a small team of advisors, including Republican Representative Matt Gaetz and former Democrat Representative Tulsi Gabbard, who once challenged Vice President Kamala Harris on the debate stage in 2019. And in 2019, Tulsi Gabbard was calling for illegal aliens to have their transgender surgeries funded by the U.S. taxpayers and prison inmates, murderers, to have their transgender surgery funded by U.S. taxpayers because, it's like that. All right, now let's go to some audio. Let's go to Kamala because everything's about race with these people. And I tell you, I had never heard of this guy, Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley has a radio show, and he calls himself a comedian. If you go look at his online stuff, he says he's a comedian and he does stand-up comedy, and that's great. The world needs more stand-up comics. But Kamala Harris did a radio interview with a comedian named Ricky Smiley, who is African-American, by the way. And I think he claims that he has the biggest, black radio show or something in the United States. I have a white radio show. Wouldn't that be racist to say that you've got a white radio show? But if you have a black radio show, then they call it a black radio show, which is racist, just the same way as it would be if you said you had a white radio show. But Kamala sat down with Ricky Smiley, stand-up comic and African-American radio show host of an African-American radio show. Then she did an interview with a Spanish-language radio station in Phoenix, Arizona. But never mind that. Here's Kamala Harris talking to Ricky Smiley, who's black. I know that because his radio show is black, and a white guy couldn't host a black radio show, right? And he's a stand-up comedian. And that's where she goes for her hard-hitting interviews, right? And by the way, the ratio of interviews that have been done by Donald Trump and J.D. Vance versus the number of interviews done by Kamala and Walz is completely nuts because Republicans do the interviews with newspapers, with radio stations, with television stations, and between Kamala and Walz, they have done 6 interviews, a total of 6 interviews between the two of them, and they're fluff jobs, of course, because that's what they do. And what is it, 38 interviews for Trump and Vance? But that's okay. Pay no attention to any of that. Now let's go to Kamala talking to Ricky Smiley.
I think he's going to lie. And
he's going to lie.
He has a playbook that he has used in the past, be it, his attacks on President Obama or Hillary Clinton.
Victim.
So we should expect that some of that might come out. Victim.
What, you mean they're mean? Did they say that you're Hitler and you're going to bring an end to democracy itself and global thermonuclear war? Because you guys are pretty close to all that, you bunch of racists. And it's 39 interviews for Trump and Vance versus 6 interviews for Harris and Walz. So another hard-hitting interview with a comedian, Ricky Smiley, who has a black radio show. Isn't that amazing? He's going to lie. This is what she says. And Ricky Smiley's sitting there nodding. They're not even in the same place. It's a phone call, phoning it in. It's race-based because the Democrat Party is a race-based party and always has been. They're a racist party. They're the seat of racism in America and they have been throughout all of our history. Eric Trump is the son of the President of the United States. And he's talking about what this is all about. They're just like, oh, no, he's going to be mean. I think Trump should call her Hitler and say she's going to destroy democracy and then just kind of turn off to the side and chuckle, just laugh a little. Throw their own insults back at them and then laugh at her. Eric Trump on what's at stake here.
I'm not surprised that she's failing. Every single American knows the problems that this country has, right? I mean, your prices are through the roof. Illegal immigrants are taking over low-income housing all over the place. Fentanyl is killing our children. There are wars breaking out all over the globe. Our Constitution's under attack. Our religion's under attack. Everything's under attack. You know, the American lifestyle, the American dream is no longer alive and well.
To say the least, and that is literal understatement. Freedom of speech is very much under attack, and it's the left. I don't know. They really need to adopt some of my talking points, but they're not liberals. They're the left. The left is coming for your rights. Free speech is very much under assault. Freedom to practice your religion is very much under your assault, unless you're a jihadi with a suicide vest and a truck bomb, in which case they're on your side. But religion, a high school coach in Washington State wanted to take a knee after high school football games to say a prayer of thanks after every football game, and the Democrats objected and sued him and took him to court, and it had to go all the way to the Supreme Court because Democrats will fight you all the way to the Supreme Court over the 2000 election and over their right to trample your free speech and your freedom to religion. And they're coming for the Second Amendment. The Democrats are against your right to practice your religion. They're against your right to free speech. They would ban you from X. And we have, Tim Walz saying that free speech is not protected if the Democrat Party decides that it's what they call hate speech, or if it is mean. Now, they can be mean all they want, but if anybody else says anything that they don't like, then they want the state to trample your free speech.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
That was misinformation, and that was hate speech, and that should be banned. He should be prohibited from speaking in public as Vice President of the United States. That's literally what the filthy left, what the Democrat Party is doing today. Jason Miller is involved in the prep, and he says, "Hey, what is President Trump doing to prepare for the big debate?"
The big, huge press conferences that are unscripted, questions from many of you. We've had the long-form interviews. We've had the shorter poll-asides. We've had the rally speeches. We've done town halls. You can't prepare for President Trump. There's just no way to do it. It's imagine like a boxer trying to prepare for Floyd Mayweather or Muhammad Ali.
Floyd Mayweather and Muhammad trying to prepare. It's true. Yeah, or for Mike Tyson, and that's true. Jason Miller, good line by him. Tulsi Gabbard is one of many people that used to be a Democrat. She was a Democrat member of the House of Representatives till not too long ago. They didn't like her because she actually deployed to Iraq, unlike Tim Walz. She left the Democrat Party because she's not insane. Tulsi Gabbard.
President Trump knows her record. He obviously has a record of success that he can stand on. And he's going to challenge Kamala Harris on exactly that and keep reminding voters who she really is, not the actor that she will present herself to be tomorrow night.
Very good. Very well said. Lovely. I met Tulsi Gabbard not too long ago at Newsmax. Had a nice, albeit somewhat brief conversation. Lovely, wonderful. Can't say enough nice things about her. And she came to her senses. Ronald Reagan said I didn't leave the Democrat Party left me. The same thing happened to me. The same thing has happened to millions of people, and it ought to happen to millions more between now and Election Day. You know that the best-selling Eden Pure Thunderstorm, the air purifier that uses Oxy technology, helps to quickly destroy a whole lot of viruses, odors, mold spores, and more in the air, in your home, in your office, in your teenager's room. With thousands of 5-star reviews online, works like a champ. Any smell will vanish in just a few seconds with the thunderstorm being on. Odors from litter boxes, trash cans, cigarette smoke, dirty diapers, and a whole lot more. No match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. The powerful thunderstorm sends out O3 molecules that seek out and help destroy odors. These molecules even go behind and underneath furniture. Nothing can hide from the thunderstorm and the magic molecules. And best of all, you don't have to buy filters over and over again on a schedule and replace them. The thunderstorm, you can hold one in your hand. They're only this big. Plug right into the outlet. Stay right there on the wall. They're amazing. They really are. Start enjoying clean, fresh air in your home again. Get several thunderstorms for whole home protection. And right now, you can save $200 American on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. You get 3 units for under $200. Put one in your basement, your teenager's room, your family room, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com, EdenPureDeals.com. Use the discount code Chris3, Chris and the number 3, to save $200. You'll thank me later. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Chris and the number 3. Very good, very, very good. Yeah, the big debate tonight. And our news media. They're a big, corrupt part of everything, aren't they?
If fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
All right, let's grab a phone call. Let's go to Jim, calling from Naperville, Illinois. James, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, I was a former Democrat myself, and Ronald Reagan turned me around, so I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, we know how Democrats operate, and I'm just wondering if there's still time for some major crisis to interrupt or interfere with tonight's debate. Maybe a nicely placed pipe bomb, and that no one knows who left there. Maybe Joe Biden goes into the hospital. Maybe someone takes a shot at Netanyahu. I don't know. Something has to, maybe pop up. You know what I mean? Where, or somebody pulls a fire alarm. We've seen that before.
We have seen that. Yeah.
So what is it going to be, right?
Well, I recognize, I understand your cynicism, and it's not entirely misplaced, to be sure. The Democrats, if they feel like it's going to be a bad night for Kamala Harris, would they have, a Democrat member of Congress pull the fire alarm to send everybody running? Would they, you mentioned the pipe bomb. Reminds me of January 5th and January 6th with the pipe bombs at the DNC and the RNC headquarters in Washington and the videotapes, and the FBI still can't find that guy.